In this training, we will explore 3 methodologies all focused on process improvement: operational excellence, lean management and Six Sigma. What are the differences? My name is Ilke Knuivers, founder of Sequove, the art of moving forward. To fully understand the differences, we'll go through the key elements of lean management, Six Sigma and operational excellence. We'll start with a brief history of their origins. Next, a brief focus on each of the 3 topics. And finally, I'll share some brief information about Sequove and where you can find more free trainings and resources at sequove.com, so you're ready to start your own improvement projects. Lean originates from Toyota in post-war Japan. Facing scarce resources, limited capital and strong international competition, Toyota developed the Toyota Production System, focused on eliminating waste, improving flow and building quality into the process. The results were exceptional. Toyota significantly outperformed competitors in productivity and quality and grew exceptionally fast. Because of this success, researchers Womack and Jones studied the system and, in the 1990s, described it in The Machine That Changed the World, introducing the term lean management. Six Sigma emerged in the 1980s at Motorola from a different challenge. The company was facing severe quality problems and high defect rates. In response, Motorola developed a structured, data-driven approach to reduce variation, deviations that make processes unstable and unreliable. By systematically reducing variation, processes become more predictable and robust. Over time, companies began to apply both approaches together. Lean improved speed and flow, while Six Sigma strengthened quality and stability. The combination proved powerful, but tools alone were not enough. This thinking evolved into what is now described as operational excellence, not just using Lean and Six Sigma, but embedding them into the way the organization is led and managed. It connects improvement methods with clear direction, the right structure, strong capabilities and real ownership, turning improvement from a project into a system. To see how powerful this can be, let's start with Lean, a short scene that demonstrates how more with less creates impact that everyone can feel.
The thing that struck me was how difficult it was for the volunteers that were there to pack that box. I mean, they were walking long distances, they were carrying heavy weight.
It was kind of disarray, just the table in the middle. Everybody was scrambling to get stuff open, and I'm like, this is not really too productive.
So by putting everybody on one side of the line and having the material come from the opposite, we think we're going to get a smoother flow.
Does anybody remember how long it was taking us to pack one box when we first started?
3 minutes.
3 minutes? That's exactly right. It was around 3 minutes.
3 minutes per box.
What do you think we were packing one box? How long and how many seconds today? About 11 seconds.
We just saw an example how unnecessary movements not only create more pressure and stress, but also how reducing them leads to time savings. In the first training, we also saw an example of optimizing movement illustrated in the scene about the McDonald's production process. There are 8 different types of waste, often summarized by the acronym TIMWOODS. Once you become aware of these forms of waste, you start to recognize them everywhere, and that immediately means that optimization and improvement become possible. Transport, the unnecessary movement of items. You still see this often, boxes that are far too large, for instance, but it can also mean reading an email, moving it into to-do later box, and then having them read again, movements that add no value. Inventory, holding unnecessary stock. Delays in the process are often caused by excess inventory at different stages. Motion, unnecessary movement of people. Waiting, losing time due to unnecessary waiting. This is often viewed only from the employee's perspective. Employees are expensive and therefore must not wait. But this often leads to excess inventory in processes, over-complexity, and also waiting from a customer perspective. Think of sitting in a hospital waiting room, or waiting on hold at call centers, or waiting for a technician to come to visit. In my other training, I explicitly focus on line balancing and solutions for this without the need of extra people. Over-processing, making processes unnecessarily complex by including every exception. Overproduction, producing more items or having more in a process than actually needed. This creates potential damages and leads to inconsistencies in quality. The adjustment and impact often don't outweigh the benefits of simplifying a process. Defects: repeating the same errors again and again in a process. Although this seems obvious, customer research still often shows the same recurring complaints. Skills not used: not making optimal use of people's talent. For example, in team meetings, do we let the most inexperienced or youngest people speak first? Or do the senior people often take the lead due to time pressure? By continuously taking small steps in one or more of these areas, waste in the process is reduced, creating room for real improvement. More with less. Change that touches everyone and makes an impact. Six Sigma is often associated with statistics, but its true strength lies in the concept, focusing on exceptions. Which deviation in the process caused today's results to differ from yesterday's? By understanding and addressing these, the process becomes more reliable and predictable. Let's start with something fundamental: variation. Everything we do or measure has variation. Take, for example, the height of people. If we were to rank people from shortest to tallest in groups, we would get a chart that looks like this, called a normality curve. In the middle, the average, and on the left and right, the exceptions. Almost everything follows a similar distribution. For instance, the use of weights in the gym, same distribution. Solar energy generated during the day, or lead times of a product or process, again, same curve. And it is precisely this pattern that helps us improve processes. As discussed in the introductory training, roughly 80% of a process should follow the normal rhythm, while 20% are exceptions, the deviation. Let's mark these boundaries in the graph. To make the concept less statistical, we can adjust the graph visually, rotate it, and simplify it. By focusing only on the exceptions and understanding which factors cause them, we can learn from them. And that is exactly the idea behind Six Sigma. Values outside the boundaries are exceptions. Why did a process go exceptionally well? Or, on the contrary, why did it fail? By analyzing only the exceptions, both reliability and predictability increase, and with every improvement, the boundaries shift, allowing the process to improve step by step. And the name, Six Sigma, comes from this idea. If only one exception occurs within 6 standard deviations, the process is almost perfect, a reference to near-perfect quality. Lean improves flow and Six Sigma improves stability. Operational excellence takes it a step further. It integrates improvement methods into a system that aligns purpose, structure, capability, and activation, turning projects into sustainable, measurable results. Continuous improvement is the ongoing outcome. It captures lessons and outcomes and feeds back into purpose, creating a sustainable cycle of improvement. In this way, operational excellence is more than techniques. It ensures processes are reliable, results improve, and everyone in the organization experiences the difference. Real progress doesn't happen by itself. Change only works when it is embraced, guided, and implemented carefully in a sequential manner. It requires a deep understanding of both processes and people, so that change can move forward gradually. That is exactly where Sequove helps. Sequove supports organizations by giving structure and engagement to change. By shaping changes smartly and carefully, results remain visible and sustainably embedded. Sequove, the art of moving forward. This brings us to the end of this training. The goal of this and other trainings is to sharpen your critical eye, to better recognize where waste or interruptions exist in your processes, and to address them effectively. We have covered the origins of Lean and Six Sigma. Lean, the 8 forms of waste. Six Sigma, the power of reducing variation. Operational excellence, how proven methodologies, clear direction, structure, capability, and activation come together to create sustainable improvement. And how Sequove supports organizations by focusing on active engagement, structured approaches, and measurable results, ensuring that change is sustainable and improvements are experienced across the organization. Great to have you here. For more information about Sequove and other free trainings, visit sequove.com. The trainings are available in English and Dutch. Feel free to leave a comment on the website. For questions about this or other trainings, you can send an email to training@sequove.com.